Okay, so we're going to make a second attempt at setting up IkSpines now that I've refreshed my memory. And yeah, so let's move forward. Here's my skeleton. I have the bare minimum, that's for sure. But it should work the same no matter what kind of skeleton you've got. So, first, all I have to do is go to the skeleton, IkSpline handle tool. Let's reset the tool. We're going to uncheck auto parent curve. We do want to root the curve, root on curve. And auto create curve, yeah, we'll do that. Auto simplify curve, sure. So we want to do number of spans to 4. And our twist type we'll set to, let's see, ease out, I think. You can always change this after the fact as well. So what ease out is, just real quick, is if as the spinal column is twisting in the y-axis, or top to bottom, I guess I should say, where is most of the twist going to happen? That's all this is describing. So ease out should make it twist less at the top than at the bottom. Okay, so with that tool activated, I'm going to select the root of the spine first. Then I'm going to select the top of the spine, or the top of the torso area of the spine, so the shoulders joint. And then it creates a curve and an IK handle. Okay, so for temporarily, I'm going to hide the joints. I'm going to hide this IK handle. I'm going to select the curve and press F8 on my keyboard. And I'm going to create some clusters. So, I'm going to select the bottom 4 CVs and create the former cluster option box. That's just so I can keep it open. I want the mode set to relative. I want that turned off, and the envelope set to 1, and there's no other option. So we'll click apply. I'll select the curve again. This time I'm going to grab the 3 center CVs, click apply, select the curve, and I'm going to grab the top 4 CVs, click apply. Or actually I'll just click create, so it'll close the window. Okay, so now we've got clusters created. And the clusters enable us to control this curve. And the joints, as a result of the IkSpline, will try to stay planted on this curve. So, but all of this stuff, the IK handle, the curve one, and the cluster nodes, we don't want to touch those. Really, once it's finished being rigged, we don't want to touch them ever again. So I'm going to group those, and typically I put them in a group, and I name the group something like do not touch, all caps. I'll add in some underscores. And that way the animator knows if he gets in there, he's going to get his hand slapped. Okay, now I need to go through and weight these clusters. So I'm going to select all the CVs, go to the window, General Editors, Component Editor, and the first 2 CVs will be controlled 100% by the bottom spine control, which we have yet to create. The CV2 we're going to set to 0.75 and 0.25 on the cluster 2. And then on the CV3, I'm going to set the 0.15 to 0.7, and then 0.15 on cluster 3. And then on cluster 2, it'll be set to 0.15 I changed my mind. I'm going to set that to 0.5. I'm going to set this to 0.5 and this to 0.5. I think I'll get a little better reaction to that. I guess really you'll have to play with that per character to see what kind of reaction you get out of it, out of the skeleton, to see if it acts appropriately. Okay, so with those attributes all set, I can close this and go back into object mode. I'm going to show my joints, and I need to start creating some controls. So I'm going to create an herbs primitive circle. I'm going to snap this to the root joint, and I'm going to delete history on it. I'm going to relabel it to hips underscore control. Okay. Now with that done, I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to call this one, actually I'm going to scale it up real quick, and I'll call this one the root control or main control. And in fact, your legs and arms and shoulders and everything should be parented to this main control. And that's how you will combine your rig so that it acts as a whole character all together. Okay, I'm going to grab the hips control again. I'm duplicate it again. I'm going to call this one the mid spine. And I'm going to duplicate it one more time. And I'm going to call this the shoulders control. Okay, now I need to move these into position. The mid spine, I'm just going to stick about halfway up. And the shoulders, I need to snap to the top. And I'm going to try to center the mid control on the actual curve. Okay, close will be good. Now with that done, I'm going to go through and create some empty groups for these controls to reside in. So I'm going to select each of these, and I'm going to parent them to the main. Okay. Now I'm going to grab each of these individually and group them. Pressing Ctrl G. Now with them in the group, I need to move the group to the same location as the hip control. Right now they're going to be centered at the location of the main control. But for instance, the shoulders needs to be snapped to the top of the shoulders up top. So I'm going to hold down D and V and snap it to that shoulder joint. And then for the mid control, it's a little bit more difficult. I'm actually going to unparent it temporarily and then parent the group 5 to it. And I'm going to zero all this out, except for scale actually, and we set that to 1. Then I'm going to parent the group 5 to main control, and then the mid spine to group 5. Okay. Now I need to freeze transformations on the hip, shoulder, and mid spine controls. We go to modify, freeze transformations, and we'll grab translate, rotate, and scale. Okay. Now we need to drive the respective cluster with the respective controls. So